Namaste. Welcome, beautiful souls. Welcome to my channel. I am back to carry on with part two. Let me check the sound here. I am back to carry on with part two of a video I started a week ago Thursday. And usually I am on YouTube live on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific. And so this is I'm on today, Friday, instead of Thursday. So I wanted to finish this up because it was a lovely, lovely conversation that we were having. Hello, Nancy. Regarding, well, first of all, I want to go back and say that this all began as I was following a thread in Tarot Nerds on Facebook. And they are doing a series every day, posting a card. What is the mundane activity you see in blank? So what is the main mundane activity you see in the 3 of Wands, the 4 of Wands, the 5 of Wands, the 6 of Wands? Where's the bowling? Where's the laundry? It's a really good question. Where is doing the laundry in the tarot? Where is, what are the cleaning up cards? Where is bowling? Where's playing softball? Where's going for a hike? Is there a card that tells us we should just take a gentle stroll versus, go climb a mountain? And so how do we identify and find these mundane activities in the tarot? I was really, really curious about this topic. And so another thing is I don't really like the word mundane. It has this, kind of low frequency to it. It's a kind of a dull vibration, just the sound of the word mundane. So what I wanted to do was to look at the cards and to really appreciate the extraordinary in the ordinary. And that's just one of the ways that's funny, Nancy. The laundry is in the 9 of Wands. I like that. What was I saying? To find the extraordinary in the ordinary. And I feel like this is how I live. I'm always living to just see the light, find the joy and really appreciate the moments, appreciate the pauses, appreciate and find the beauty in doing the laundry. There's got to be beauty in doing the laundry. There's got to be beauty in folding the socks. There just has to be. Otherwise, why are we here? So today we're going to carry on and look through the Suit of Swords and the Suit of Pentacles. So 28 more cards. And I just really want to encourage you to think about these day-to-day activities. Like, where is walking the dog? Right? Where is walking the dog? Where is bathing the dog? Where is losing the dog? The dog runs away. Like, all these activities, all of these day-to-day things are contained within the tarot. And I've said this a couple times recently in some of my classes, and that is that, hi, Nancy. And that is, sometimes I feel like we try too hard when we're reading. And yes, when I'm reading the cards, I want to find and see the spiritual message. But do you ever feel like that sometimes? We're not being real, we're trying sometimes just to go too deep when it's not necessary, because there's a lot of wisdom and teachings in the being right here and right now. Yeah. So just a few preliminary thoughts. And I encourage you to join in as we go through each of these cards and post your everyday activity that is associated with these 28 cards, as well as, where do you find the joy in these activities? I want to know that. I really do. And because if we can do that, then, we can be a lot freer and lighter and playful and healthy. So let's look at these first few that are on the table. We're going to start with the Ace of Swords, and I can make them bigger if you want. Or not. The deck on the left is Druidcraft, of course, which is trimmed a little bit. In the center is the Bone, Stone, and Earth Flesh. And on the right is the Way Home by Bakara Wintner, illustrated by Amy Whitehurst, I believe. And the illustrator for the Druidcraft is Will Worthington. Illustrator for here is Anna Torian. Always important to credit the illustrators, don't you think? All right, so let's look at these aces. And I kind of get a different feeling for each of them. And I guess that's another important thing too, is that that's a good statement, Nancy. Life isn't always profound. Exactly, right? Sometimes it's very, very ordinary, and that's beautiful. That's perfect. Ordinary is perfect. What I see in the card on the left from the Druidcraft, my mundane activity here is watching Netflix. I see Merlin. I see that TV series that I loved so much. And this reminds me of when they went into the lake, retrieved the sword, and I think this is the very last episode, and came up in the water, and it was just this most beautiful, beautiful moment. So my mundane is connecting to history, my passion of this old myth and folklore, and seeing that in the cards. So maybe this Ace of Swords and that particular moment, if you think of communication or language or words, maybe it's about picking up a good book. Maybe it's going back and rewatching that last episode of Merlin. Sometimes it can be that simple. It really, really can. And then when I look to the other two cards and I see the feathers, it makes me want to write. It's about writing. It's about picking up a pen, picking up some of my favorite pens. Like one of my favorite types of pens are those. They're a soft tip. They have a little bit of a longer tip felt pen, so you can do calligraphy with them. You can get a fine, like a hard point, and then a light point. And so, yeah. So I see the writing in this card, and feathers too. Also, it could be something like finding a feather on a beach. So this might be like, go for a walk. Maybe that's what this is about. It's about, finding, and I consider these things gifts as well too. Sometimes I'll head out on a walk and I'll say to Spirit, if you have a gift for me today, I would love something new for my altar. And then I head out, and I usually find something. Gifted to me. Love, love, love that. Okay, so let's look at what Nancy and Nancy. We have Nancy and Nancy here. So Nancy Peppermoon says, reading directions or ingredients on a package. You're learning nothing fancy, but new knowledge, right? Or in a recipe. And I love what Nancy Crone's intuition says as well too. The pen is mightier than the sword. Yeah. In that's a really kind of beautiful reflection, having those two side by side. Okay, so then we go to the Two of Swords. And so here, there's a blindfolded person facing this great tree. This one is a really cool card. I can speak to it in a second. Here we have a mom with the baby on the back. She's got her pendulum at the front of her, and she's using her pendulum to confirm her direction and which way she's going. She's also got this raven here, or crow, connecting to her. And here the two swords are breaking this rope. So kind of different cards, kind of different experiences. And I really feel in the two cards on the left, there's a sense of, sometimes I want to go for a walk with somebody else, and sometimes I want to go alone. And I feel like both of these cards are just a reminder to go out on my own, and to know that there's always something great that happens when I go out on an adventure on my own, right? This could be a 30-minute walk. It could be something bigger than that, but I feel that the mundane in that is to take some time to be alone today. Be alone with my thoughts, be alone with my mind, perhaps be in silence today. Be with my magic, be with my pendulum, something like that. So those two cards, I feel something quite beautiful. Yeah. Choices are full of possibility. And then the card on the right, I feel like, it's just like, can we cut through the red tape kind of message? Let's cut through the crap. Let's break free perhaps as well too. Maybe it's a message about what are you ready? What am I ready to break free from? And how could we make that really, really simple, But again, maybe that is about some alone time today. I'm just kind of feeling that's what that message is. Hi, Andrew. I agree. Sometimes going with someone takes away from my personal experience. Yeah. And I find that too, I know a lot of people don't practice mindfulness, and I can be out and in the woods and I meet somebody, and most people that I meet are quite connected, but sometimes, people are busy, they're busy on their phone or they've got their headphones in, and I feel kind of sad, that they're not present at all. They're not present in these glorious surroundings. Yeah. This is a very, very empowering card too. Very, very empowering. All right. Oh, this is such an amazing card. I'm glad I pulled out this deck. 3 of Swords. Oh, another thing that I was thinking, if the 2 of Swords is knitting, the 3 of Swords is knitting socks. So that kind of appealed to me. If the 2 of Swords is knitting, the 3 of Swords is knitting socks. Sometimes I knit on the round, but I do also like to knit with 3 needles. So that was one thing that came up as very kind of a mundane activity for that. 3 of Swords. Well, often something to do with the heart. And this one is kind of cool with the hourglass as well too, and that the sword is breaking the top of the hourglass. So I might think about something with this one. This one here, there's something extraordinary going on here, and it's almost hard to make this one mundane. And then over on the left, we have, another quite beautiful card. Yeah. So, other than the knitting, this one for me is tricky because I love the beautiful messages that arise from this particular card. 3 swords, 3 thoughts. Maybe this is about just taking time with your thoughts today and to really bring in some different viewpoints. 3 thoughts, 3 documents, 3 chances, 3 words. Maybe it's about finding 3 perfect words for something. Let's go to the chat. Nancy says, I always think of this as a mental breakthrough that might be painful. So realizing you're having a bad hair day. Yeah, that's funny. And the breakthrough definitely is found in the card on the right, the glass breaking. And also the breakthrough in the card in the center, you see that the growth, right? We have actual new growth coming through. Yeah, Nancy, that keyword reminds me of the Osho Zen Tarot, the breakthrough card. I'm not sure if that's the Chariot card or not, but it's a wonderful, wonderful keyword that we definitely do not have in enough decks. Andrew says, I recently got this card when asking about 3 possible job opportunities. Okay. Yeah. And 3s are such a magical number. I just kind of feel like there's something, yeah, I really, really like the 3s. And then here's the 4 of Swords. The figure is facing the front. His hands, let's look at his hand gesture. Hands are interlaced, kind of underneath the chin. His feet are crossed and his sword is on his lap. And here we have a male figure, horses over to the right, going into the cauldron, right? Going into the lake. It looks kind of cold. And here in the Four of Swords on the right, we have baby chicks. Baby chicks in a nest. So there's no mom there, just the baby chicks. Maybe the card on the right has something to do with looking after your chicks or letting your chicks rest. You know, let sleeping, what's the expression? Let sleeping something lie. Let sleeping dogs lie, something like that. I never thought about that before. So yeah, there's time for quiet contemplation for sure in the Druidcraft card. There's time for a bath in the Central card. Maybe time for a swim. Maybe go skinny dipping. But there's definitely a sense of peace in this card, right? There's a sense of peace. So create your sanctuary. This is definitely about creating your sanctuary, whatever that may be for you. So how about maybe a cup of coffee? And Andrew says it reminds him of counting sheep and lying in bed. Yeah. So peacefulness and perhaps a quietness away from the swords that are usually so very, very chatty. And that's all very beautiful. Okay, so the number of swords begins to increase. And again, 3 very different looking cards. So on the left, we have the Nana Nana Boo Boo card, which I got from Robin Wood. I believe that's what she calls this card. Nana Nana Boo Boo. And if you look, this very tough guy is holding the swords by the sharp end, 2 of them. 1 is in his left hand and 2 are on the ground, and the figure in the background has his head bowed. So, you know, this is, it's not an easy card, this one. And then here, we definitely have martial arts. We have a kick in the chest. And there are others in the background who are not participating. And then on the right, this is such an interesting card. I see a bug. I see perhaps a spider with bent legs, but there's 5 legs, not like we would see in a spider. I don't think I've actually ever read the description for this illustration in this card, but each of the swords is broken. And so what is the mundane activity? What is the beneficence? What is the joy in the ordinary in the 5 of Swords? I actually did add in my spreadsheet here. I should see if I wrote anything down. Oh my goodness, you know what I wrote for this one? I wrote squabbling over whether a word is acceptable in Scrabble. Squabbling over whether a word is acceptable in Scrabble. Now that, of course, is not inspired by any of these illustrations, but when you think of the 5 of Swords and you think about communication, I love to play Scrabble, and some of the people that I play with are super competitive. Not all of them are aware of the acceptable 2-letter word list. And some people also aren't aware of, you know, certain words were acceptable at one point and not acceptable at another point. And I try to play socially, but some of the competitive people I play with, it can get pretty hot. Pretty hot because of playing with the, in playing Scrabble. Andrew says, aggressive co-worker. And Nancy says, because swords are thoughts or communication, I think of it as a healthy debate. Okay. Yeah. All right. Boat. Okay, so for the most part, we have a boat in this card. And I think if we think of the boat as a metaphor or the boat as a literal boat, there's some advice here about your boat. It's kind of a spooky color in the Druid Craft. I find that green water kind of eerie, actually. There's something about travel in this card for sure. There's definitely a storm that's going on in the center. And in most of these cards, there is a stormy part, and then there's an optimistic part, a clear part. And we don't always know where we're going, but the thing is to have the courage to move forward. But what is the mundane activity here, right? What is the ordinary activity? And what is the joy in that ordinary activity? In Baccarat's deck, we have these very, very simple flowers. Some people would call them weeds, right? We have yarrow and buttercups and clover, Shasta daisies. I'm not sure what the other two are. So they're wildflowers, right? They're growing up, breaking through in places. They're hardy. They don't need to be reseeded. They're strong. They have stamina. Never actually thought about that before, about really thinking about what those flowers are. Right? So there is a power. You're right, Nancy. There's a power in moving on. New things grow. This is about, I'm just thinking of an activity. I didn't write down a specific activity this might represent, or a daily grind kind of thing. Maybe it's about the commute to work. For those of you that actually travel to work, and knowing that everything will be there. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm really happy with that one. Let's look at what Andrew suggested here. I think the main character in A Discovery of Witches, when she is angry, she goes row in her canoe and it calms her down. Yes, paddling is paddling is super meditative. I have a stand-up paddleboard. Oh, okay. So maybe this is my stand-up paddleboard card. And there is a real kind of meditative experience, right? In paddling, kayaking, canoeing, paddleboarding. And then we go to the 7. So quite different images here. I actually love the one in the Druid Craft. I think there's a lot to be learned from that one. And there's something very, very important about the one in the center. Love the picket fence of the one on the right as well, too. So you can be inspired by one of these, or you can just start to think of the accumulation of, that's a lot of swords. It's a lot of thoughts in the mind. 7 of Swords. And I like in the Llewellyn Tarot, or I believe it's in one of the tattoo tarots. There's a real saucy kind of nature to the person who's taking, take what's yours. Take what's yours and go. This could very well be that kind of, if it's, I'm just thinking after, kind of pick your battles kind of message. We don't always have to reveal everything. I feel in the book that's being written on the left, there's a weight, there's a responsibility to that, but we don't have to do it all at the same time. That's kind of what I'm feeling here. Exactly. Biting off more than you can chew. Yeah. So I think this one is worth a little more thought and reflection. Did I write anything in my list? I did not. Okay. Oh, but I did write something for the next one. Okay. So 8 of Swords, kind of traditional one in the Druid Craft. And here, kind of traditional in this one as well too. In the bone stone, we see a reflection. And something is revealed in the reflection. This actually looks like Japan to me with all the cherry blossoms and things. What I wrote down for this one was crystal grids. I love making crystal grids, either little ones for intention or specific purposes, or I love gridding the garden. I love gridding the house or gridding a room. It's just really, it's a wonderful activity, you know, to go around, pick up the old crystals and then cleanse them and then come back and with new intention and regrid a room or a house, or to make a crystal grid. It's like the woman in the center, or the bug in the center is that that stone, that activating stone, the stone that connects everything else. Right? It's almost as if in this particular card, and the next one as well too, there's a disassociation from the thoughts. You know, it's like we don't own our thoughts. We don't own our thoughts, and we allow them to get carried away. And so there's a web effect going on here, which we'll see in the Pentacles in one of these decks. But I feel, yeah. Mr. Andrews says reorganizing. Yes, that's perfect. Reorganizing your tarot shelf to ease your mind. Yeah, love it. All right, 9. The thoughts begin to increase. And there's so many thoughts. We have smoke in the deck on the left. And then we have a really wild cat, perhaps something you see in your scariest nightmares, on the right. Yeah. So for this card, when I look at the card on the right, I think of blowing off some steam. Why do we have that expression, blow off steam? What does that mean, to blow off steam? I think that really fits with this card. Go blow off some steam. Clear your mind. Clear your mind. Do what you need to do to clear your mind. And we all have different things to do that. I really like the card in the center. What else for the 9 of Swords? So we have a real pincushion kind of thing. Like I can see one of those red pin cushions with all the pins in it. So maybe it has something to do with mending. You know, mending, sewing. Filled with hot air. Blowing off steam, filled with hot air. So why do we get filled with hot air, right? There's, I guess it would be anger that heats it, or some kind of negative emotion that heats the thoughts. And then we need to release the thoughts. Yeah. You know, I think this is an important activity, and I do this from time to, I don't do this, but I really try my best to allow the ordinary to happen in readings, because I think it's important. And we've got lots of really interesting, cool messages here. I know if Jonathan were in the chat, he'd say, oh yeah, this is the acupuncture card. A lot of times the swords are perfectly lined up with the chakra points. And in that case, there's a sense of receiving medicine. What is the purpose of acupuncture? The purpose of acupuncture is to stimulate the meridians, so the meridians can come into balance and create health and wellness. And then, you know, I love this card. I put a lot of time and thought into this card, but I'm trying to keep this practical and find something very ordinary. With the card on the right, I'm tempted to go down to the beach and pick up garbage. That card makes me want to go pick up litter. It really does. And get a COVID vaccine. It hurts, but it's good to get it over with. Yeah, that's as mundane and practical as it gets right now, isn't it? Yeah. So there's a couple of paths where I have been postponing going back to pick up trash. And I'm really feeling that right now. And I know we all get different, we can all relate in different ways to different mundane activities. This one is very, very wild. And there's a metaphor in nothing is ever wasted. Nothing is ever wasted. I'm just thinking of the carrion birds. And if we were to come up with a practical thing for this in my household, that we invite certain people over to the meal so nothing is wasted, don't invite the picky people to the party. And then we go to the princess. I missed one comment here. Oh, that's good, Andrew. Yeah, just exhausted, feeling dead after a long day at work. Yeah. Okay, so here we have the Princess of Swords. And I feel with this one, it's like acknowledging. So the princess is naive, probably doesn't know how to wield the sword very well, maybe isn't entirely accurate with the use of her vocabulary. This one, there's a lot of magic and looks like crazy stuff going on here. Like anything could happen. The books can start to fly. This is like in Harry Potter when the young witches and warlocks are first learning magic and everything kind of goes awry. So there's a playfulness to this card, much like in the Page of Fire. So how about play with your thoughts? Let your thoughts come alive. There's a adventureness to this card. And why do we have snowflakes inside the Daughter of Swords? What does the snowflake represent? Because I definitely don't feel like the Daughter of Swords is a cold person. That's funny, Nancy. You're anything but that. You're so clever. Yeah, a bit of innocent fun. Even if you mess up, try it. Even if you mess up, do it. Compared to the Sun, who's a bit of a wild thing, a bit of a wild card, the Knight. Love the one in the center. There's a recklessness to this. And you know what? There's so much transformation in the recklessness. This is just go stand in the wind and let the wind blow through your hair. Let your hair down, go crazy, go fly a kite, ride your bike Mach 1 down a hill, something like that. It's really, there's a real feeling of freedom. Oh, okay. Going back to the Daughter, Nancy has a comment. An individual snowflake is the beginning of snow piled on the ground. That's so poetic, lovely. Yes, on a roller coaster. right? At the amusement park, the fast rides, the scary rides that are so exhilarating, that sense of air and wind and not being in control. So maybe this is that do something that lets you not feel in control. And of course, that would be different for each one of us. Okay, and then we get to the Queen or the Mother. These are outstanding cards here. So we do have ice in this one as well too. Icicles. This is a absolutely amazing witchy card, and this one has always been a favorite of mine. There's just so much assurity in these cards. She knows exactly what she's doing, what she wants, where she wants to go, doesn't really care what anybody else thinks. See you, Nancy. Thanks for joining us. Ooh, skydiving. So this is going back to the night. Yes, skydiving would be great for the night. Okay. So everyday activity for this one. Wow. I kind of feel like this is the best TED Talk ever. This is, I mean, that's not a mundane activity. That's a very special thing that you would be invited to do. But be confident in who you are. A crone's intuition, intention. But Nancy, I was looking at your title and I'm thinking, yeah, this is a crone's intuition. This is owning your crone's intuition, owning your intuition, owning your thoughts. Intend what you want to do and do it. Like this is a huge yes card, like a huge yes card. Go for it. Yeah. Really, really love these. And then the King. So it's extraordinary how different the energy is from the Queen to the King of Swords. You know, he's so like aloof. And the Queen of Swords is anything but aloof. And I almost feel a gentleness here as well too. It's weird. It's a weird chemistry here. And I have a lot of relations with King of Swords types, and I want to find something that feels I want to find something different here. Different. Just kind of give the king. I want to give the King of Swords a break. Is what I want to do here. That's what I want to do in finding a mundane activity. Yeah, that Bonestone King is mesmerizing. I'm going to go to my list and just see if I wrote anything down for the King. Oh, one thing I didn't share was, I should have been looking at my list. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back and just share a couple of things. So with the Nine of Swords, I wrote down waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning with an inspiring idea. And then with the Page, I wrote playing expert Sudoku and knowing that is exactly the only level that you can play. So there's some kind of arrogance in gaming, knowing that, yeah, I don't need to play beginner level. I can just go to expert level. So yeah, so I was feeling that like arrogant, expert gaming person. But what about the King? Oh, hello, Joseph. When you said everything just to when you say everything with just a stare at your pets and your children, and when they go overboard. Oh my God, that's hilarious. I like that. Yes, that is absolutely perfect. Oh, that makes me laugh. I've done that so many times, just staring at the kids like, oh my God, are you really, really doing that? And you don't need to say anything. They know exactly who is in charge. Okay. All right. So let's go to the Pentacles. Pentacles. I think this one's pretty obvious. Like, and I talk about this all the time with various clients. If you don't have an idea, just go plant a seed, or literally plant a seed. You can grow anything inside any time of year. Just go plant a seed. But yeah, maybe you can get some inspiration from, I don't know why I can't get these straight, but it's okay. Alrighty, Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. I still haven't done anything about my squeaky table. What is the extraordinary, ordinary thing about the Ace of Pentacles? What is the extraordinary, ordinary thing about the Ace of Pentacles? I love this card. In pretty much every single deck, I love this card. What is this? It's like, it's an opportunity. It's a gift. It's about accepting a gift, receiving a gift. Breakfast. Breakfast. I appreciate, Joseph. I like that too. Yeah. The power of aloofness is interesting. The power with the aloofness is interesting. Referring back to the king. Breakfast. Yeah. So the first meal of the day. Get fed. I just, like, I feel like this is the crack in the sidewalk. This is the dandelion in the pavement. This is the poppies in the pavement. This is the beauty where we don't necessarily see the beauty. Oh, that's beautiful. Joseph says, when you sleep on a problem, you're trying to figure out and then come out with the start of your answer. And it's such a, we get this beautiful physical representation in this card as well, too, that I really appreciate. And the emergence of the bear from the cave and just that beautiful dawn light in the background in that card. This one is funny. I mean, we have a lot of really fun / funny Two of Pentacles cards in many, many decks. Yeah. And there's some inspiration, I'm sure, that can be drawn from the cards that are on the table, other than other things you associate with the Two of Pentacles. So any kind of thing that you consider juggling, I feel like this is a card, you've got this, you can do this. I'm going to go and see. Let's go here. Alrighty, so two coins, Two of Pentacles, two balls in the air, juggling two things, two plates, any two circular things, right? Any two circular things. There's often an infinity sign, like the figure 8 in this card. There's a sense of crafting, a sense of weaving. Ah, that's a good one. So when you use two decks, or when you use an oracle deck and a tarot deck to weave together a message. Mhm. She looks pretty relaxed, hey, the woman in the druid craft. I want to look at her up close here. Yeah, she looks very, very relaxed. And there's something about the notion of weaving. I want to say that I feel that the whole juggling, the whole figure eight thing, there's a sense of the beauty of weaving. And I don't mean necessarily literally weaving. Maybe it's about flow, something to do with flow. And last time in part one, I had out the slow tarot. And think about that Two of Pentacles with the bathtub overflowing. So flow. Okay, there's something about flow in the Two of Pentacles. And then Three of Pentacles. There's a lot of work happening here, teamwork. So this one's fairly easy, right? We can choose any sort of thing where we are together with another, with a group, in support. You don't have to do this alone. I can think of what is that rubber tree plant song? Do you know that song? And I don't know if it's a kid song, but it's an older song, you know, with the rubber tree plant song. Or what about moving? I kind of feel like this card also feels like moving, actually like moving houses, changing offices, doing something like that. There's I bet there's some sports you could think of for this one as well too. This feels kind of sporty. Maybe it's about any kind of throwing activity or pounding activity. Maybe it's about fixing something, right? Getting out your tools, your hammer, your saw. And then Andrew's going deep. Andrew's going, well, that's a beautiful quote. But yes, nature takes care of itself. We don't have to force nature, which is what that means, right? Just going to put my little bit, there we go. So anything else for this one? Nobody's rushing in any of those pictures. There's no rushing whatsoever. There's a coming together. There's a success. So this is about like cooking together. It's about being together. It's about connection. So also I kind of feel like this one is asking for help. It's not a sword card, but I feel this is about asking for help. Reach out and call someone, reach out and ask somebody else to help you. Mm-hmm. This is a kind of an important activity, I think, to go through maybe with every new deck that you get, and ask yourself, what is the ordinary here? What is the deeper message? Rather than just referring to the guidebook, to really look for yourself and see what you see. Just glancing at these cards, something I never noticed is to look at the body position of the frog. Look at the body position of the man on the left. Not so much the card in the center, but there's a prostration in this card. This is a card that feels, it's a card of gathering energy. Andrew's going back to the Three of Pentacles. Yes, it definitely looks like a construction site for sure. Maybe this is about accounting. Maybe it's time to check the books. Check the books. Check the balances. Or the opposite, of course. Don't worry about it, let go. But we're really looking for the practical message we see here. And then the one on the left, in the center, from the bone stone, is the result of not moving, being too stuck with your things, being afraid to go outside. And if you stay inside too long, you're just gonna, turn to dust. The beauty is outside the window, and her clothes have even worn away. That's interesting. And I also don't want to, don't forget also that if you had chosen this particular deck on this day and this card came up, maybe you saw a frog today, or maybe you were somewhere where you saw lily pads, and maybe there's just a message or a sign in the symbol on the card. So don't forget, it can sometimes just be as simple as that. And then we go to the Five of Pentacles, and quite different energy in these three cards. So we have a solo figure resting on the tree. There is definitely hope in the distance. And look at the beautiful color beyond the shelter in the central card. And the hope of the Five of Pentacles on the right is the seeds. The plant will naturally reseed itself. Even though it has not been a successful harvest, there will be seeds and there will be new plants. And we can do it again. So, go to YouTube, learn how to do tomatoes better next year. But what about the cards on the left and the right? Maybe there's a camping message for the one in the center. What about pausing? What about pausing and saying hello to homeless people? What about pausing and looking at them and looking into their eyes and acknowledging that they're there and saying hello? That is a beautiful practice. Okay, Six of Pentacles. It kind of ties in a way to the Five of Pentacles, right? So why not? I've done a few different things. To me, this is the Pay It Forward card. This is the Random Act of Kindness card. And I see this very much as a card to enjoy random acts of kindness, either receiving a random act of kindness or to do a random act of kindness. Yeah. Tax return, haha. Yes, that's very funny. Tax return. This one is really interesting. So what is the return of harvesting and drying your herbs? It's a big, big return. You get to have teas, you can have tinctures, things last a long time. You have herbs for cooking. Yes, the Druidcraft 6 could almost be the 5 for sure. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to call this one for sure. This is my random act of kindness card in most decks, except for not in the Way Home Tarot. 7. 7. And I think it's also interesting to look at the journey of the 5, 6, and 7 of Pentacles. They are very, yeah, the journey through the Pentacles is definitely one we can all connect with. Harvesting mistletoe. So is that person taking the mistletoe off because it's a parasite and it's harming the tree? Or is there another reason that person is harvesting the mistletoe? Bet you didn't think about that before. So maybe the card on the left, maybe they're all just about gardening. Do some gardening. Go pull some weeds or plant some seeds. It's a definitely in many decks. It's a gardening card. So whatever gardening suggests for you. There's also a tremendous precision in the foraging in the central card. There's a care. There's definitely a taking care. And even though this guy has a scythe, he's being very, very careful about how he removes the mistletoe from the tree. So yeah, go slowly. There's definitely a slowly adverb in this one. All right, so a few more. 8. What is the extraordinary in the ordinary of this? And I think of all of the suits, the suit of Pentacles is the most ordinary suit. It's easiest to find the ordinary. So let's go for the extraordinary in the ordinary. There is so much focus in this card. It's really, really beautiful. And I think there's a joy in this card as well, too. There's a joy in the craft. When you let the chicken marinate in the fridge for days, and it tastes so good. This card reminds me of market. I used to do a lot of Sunday markets. And it reminds me of the days between the market days and the crafting and it was always stressfully fun because it was exactly what I love to do. And I find this also is a Dharma card. You know, this card comes up when people are questioning their job, whether their job is in alignment with their path and things like that. And I know that's not a mundane aspect of the card, but there's a lot of joy in doing what you love. And right, there's joy in that, Joseph. When I do well in a test because I've mastered it, I've studied well. Love, love, love the light in the honeycomb there. And then 9 of Pentacles. So now here we see the fruits, right? We see the fruits of our labors. And we get to enjoy the fruits of our labors in the 9 of Pentacles. And the fruit of the labor in the center card is all those years of dance classes, all those practices, all of that. And then we get to perform and be on stage, right? So there's an abundance to this card. There's a gathering in for sure. Counting your blessings. Maybe this is the card for the gratitude jar. Yeah. So one of the things I encourage you to do is to go to the Tarot Nerds Facebook page and to start to participate in the activity, because I think this is a It's a great activity for those of you that are learning to read tarot, or even who have been reading tarot for years. 10 of Pentacles. I'm going to just go back to my spreadsheet, see if I missed anything. I did miss a few things, but that's okay. So 10 of Pentacles. This one always feels like the dinner party to me, which is what Baccara and Amy created in their card. It's a community card. It's about getting together with family, extended family, perhaps a community picnic, things like that. I just really love the connection in this card. Yes, Thanksgiving for sure. And then we go to the page. This always makes me think of picking up rocks at the beach, or just kind of slowing down and paying attention to what's around, picking up feathers and appreciating, finding the joy in nature. Page of Pentacles. Sometimes this card, speaks to studying and good books as well, connecting with books, learning through books. But I love the earth-centric cards. They really do tell a beautiful story. And then the last few here. This one, this is a very, very interesting court card. So I'm sure you have a couple of decks that have turtles for this one. So the knight is riding on a turtle. The card in the center, she has a snake. And this is a card of transformation, connection with nature, like a horse whisperer, animal whisperer kind of energy. And before I had this deck, I never thought about the Knight of Pentacles as a horse whisperer. Yes, this is my magic chopstick. So that's a new keyword for me for this deck, is horse whisper. For this card is horse whisperer. This knight goes slowly because this knight appreciates. This knight does not leave a big footprint. And then the last two. Queen. She really is extraordinary. And the card on the left is so very well connected. It's heartbeat card, right? The heartbeat of the drum. So what makes your heart beat? Love that the fruit in the card on the right is red. And she is doing some magic here. She has it looks like a chicken foot, actually. I don't know. I feel like this is about heart. Do something to create heart. Cooking a meal for family. Feel or know that, just know that you're loved. Know that you're loved. Know that you're heard. Know that others see and feel and respond to your heartbeat. Beautiful, beautiful. There's a gentleness. There's a different pace, right? There's a real sense of andante to the court cards in the suit of Pentacles. And then the last one, the Father, to me, who is the epitome of, I don't know, there's something about this particular court. The fact that he or she supports the family financially. There's a real sense of comfort and participation. Love the rock metaphor in this one. The Father of Pentacles being the rock of the family. And, well, as you know, I do have a lot of earth-centric decks. And so that connects to me deeply. But none of these cards really describe the feeling I get from the Father of Pentacles. I think more of the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. Do you know the grandfather holding the little girl in that one? To me, this just feels like sitting with Grandpa, the comfort of being in the arms of Grandpa. There's a safety, there's a security. It's a big blanket card for me, big hug card. I don't know about you, but that's what I feel. I'll leave that one there, and I'm just going to share with you a few more things before I cooking with food that you've grown yourself. Ah, that's perfect for the Queen of Pentacles. Yes, love that, Joseph. Okay. So for those of you that are still here, I just want to make sure that I did send out some $10 coupons that are expiring on March 30th. So if you were considering taking one of my classes, you can pre-book for those classes and get $10 off. And if you don't know, I'll just tell you that coupon is Spring Break 10. Spring Break 10, and that will get you $10 off any of my upcoming classes. April 7th is the next Read With Me 1 series, and that goes for 4 consecutive Wednesday mornings, Pacific time. Everything's Pacific time. And then Read With Me 2, I already have people registered for June, so I would not wait to sign up for that one. I only take 8 people per class. And that one starts June 2nd. All of this you can find on my shop at integrativehealingwithsadhana.com. There's a court card class that's coming up in May. And most recently, I have added a 2-day retreat that's happening April 24th and 25th. And I did a video a few days ago about it, talking about it. We're going to spend 4 hours together on a Saturday and a Sunday at the end of April, April 24th and 25th, connecting, recharging, sitting in circle and sharing and healing. And so that's April 24th and 25th. And then for those of you that had requested a part 2 to the Awaken Intuition series, part 2 for that is starting in June, on June 15th. And the only other class that I'm kind of contemplating is a mantra class. I've had several requests to do a mantra workshop or a mantra class. And I think I will do the same thing. I'm going to do it over a 4-week period, and we will work together and learn some mantras with the intention of building a morning mantra practice. So I will be giving some thought to that because I want to listen and respond to what you're asking for. Okay, so all of these classes are on Zoom. They're all in the shop on my website, and feel free to email me or message me through the website, and I'll get back to you if you have any questions. Okay. So enjoy your weekend, and bright blessings to all of you. Enjoy the shift of the spring energy, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Okay? Namaste.